Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. In the previous class, we were discussing about the consequences of partition, and under this section, we came to know how people were getting displaced from India to Pakistan or Pakistan to India, and in this displacement of population, there was no planning, and because of this people suffered a lot of violence uh, during this displacement, and especially the minorities on both sides of the border became easy target, and they suffered a lot. And among these minorities, the biggest sufferer, the severe sufferer, were women and children. And besides, we have also seen how different writers, poets, and filmmakers started to express their feelings about this partition and violence through their creativity. And many poems were written, many stories were written, and many movies were made uh, regarding this partition and violence, and it was described as division of heart. This was not the division of country, but actually it was a division of heart. And then we have seen how this partition was not merely the political division of country, but actually it was also the division of assets, division of liabilities, then administrative apparatus and financial assets. Everything was divided between the two countries. Then the employees of the government, railways, all were divided. So in this way, these were the consequences of mm, consequences of partition. Now, the partition was what was the basis of partition? Why this partition was happened? The main reason of the partition was the two nation theory, which was proposed by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. According to this theory, in India, India is not. In India, there were two people. One is Hindu and the other is Muslim. And people belonging to two religion cannot live together in one country. So, for both the religion, there is a need of two countries, two different countries, and that is the reason that for Muslims, Pakistan was created, and for Hindus, India was created. And after this partition, there was displacement of population. In spite of displacement, around 80 lakh people uh, crossed the border and reached to their new country. In spite of this, it's not that all the Muslims who were living in India before independence, before partition, now they have left the country and now they have become a part of Pakistan. It's not like that. Even after displacement of population, Muslims were in a large number. Muslims were there in the India. According to the census of 1951, there were 12% of in total population. The population of Muslim percentage of Muslim population was 12%. So, in spite of partition, in spite of displacement of population, there was a 12% of total population was consist of Muslim people. So now, other than Muslim, there are other minorities also, such as Christian, Sikhs, Jainas, Buddhists, Parsis, Jews. So now, there was a big question in front of India that after this partition, should India become a Hindu nation? Because the partition was done on the basis of religion only. So, what we find that it was a big question. Should India become a Hindu nation. Actually, there were uh, many political interest. Whatever was happening at that time in the country, the partition, the violence, everything was the result of political competition. The Muslim League tried to project itself as the protector of Muslim interest. They are the only people, the leaders of the Muslim League or the organization. Muslim League uh, was there only to protect the interest of the Muslims. Okay, and it was the only the demand of Muslim League for the creation of Pakistan. It's not that the Muslim population was demanding the separate nation. It was the demand of the leaders, especially Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So, just like we are saying that an organization is projecting itself as it is the only organization which is there to safeguard the interest of the Muslims in colonial India. Just like that, there were Hindu organizations were also there, and these Hindu organizations wanted India to mm, become a Hindu state because they were Hindu fundamentalists and they wanted that India should become a Hindu state because Hindus are in majority in India. But our leaders of our national movement, they were not believing in these type of ideologies. Our national leaders were of the opinion that India is a country of diversity. India is a country where people belonging to different religion are living. India is a country where all the major countries of the major religion of the world is uh, getting representation. So our constitution makers did not want to crush this diversity by making India a Hindu state. Our constitution makers were very much conscious about this that India should not only recognize this diversity but also promote this diversity. And in order to encourage this diversity, our constitution makers make India a secular country, a country where all the religions are will be treated equally. No religion will be given any kind of priority or preference by the government. The government will have no official religion, and the people will have the religious freedom. So, our constitution makers adopted the secular nature of Indian state. Okay, now we will see. Just now, I told one of the consequences of partition was the creative expression of the feelings of the uh, creative people like poets, story writers, and movies all were made on the issue of partition and Faz Ali Ahmed, Faz, and then Amrita Pritam, all these we have seen. And now there is a mention of a movie Garm Hawa. It's about the trauma of partition, how partition took place, and how Muslim family had to suffer because of this partition. Not only his business suffered, but also his his house was also occupied by people who came from Pakistan, and his daughter's life end very badly, and many people, many members of his family decided to go back to Pakistan because they were Muslim and they thought that it will be safe to be in Pakistan. But this the main actor of the hero, that is Salim Mirza, he's not able to decide where he should go. Should he go to Pakistan, but or should he stay back in India only? So he was in dilemma. Then again he witnessed how his son Sikandar joins the student procession, which was demanding fair treatment for all, because the minorities were suffering a lot on both sides of the border. So there was a procession, there was protest by the students, and they were demanding fair treatment. And this protest was joined by the son of Salim Mirza, and the son was Sikandar. So in this way, this kind of situation arose because of partition, and the life of the people became so traumatic and miserable. So all this has been picturized very beautifully in the movie. Now we will see Mahatma Gandhi sacrifice. We all know that the role Mahatma Gandhi played in the Indian national movement is unquestionable. Though nowadays people use many kind of misinformation. I will say it misinformation regarding Mahatma Gandhi, because it's very easy to abuse someone, but before abusing, we must know the things in depth. Without knowing the things properly, people start spreading many types of misinformation. So I'm not supporter of spreading of news and information which are not authentic, because whatever news we get from WhatsApp, these news are totally unauthentic. There is no authenticity of the news or the informations which we get through messages from WhatsApp. So it is my request to you all that you should don't blindly believe everything whatever is sent by someone in the WhatsApp. So, Mahatma Gandhi has a place which can never be taken by anyone else, and he was the person who was responsible for India's freedom, and it was his struggle. It was under his leadership the whole India became one, and started the struggle against the British. But when after such a long wait, when on 15th August 1947 India became independent, there were many who were not able to celebrate that happiness, celebrate that freedom, because first of all, they were not knowing. There were many people, especially in Punjab and Bengal, who were not knowing that which is their country, India or Pakistan. Yes, they have become free, but which is their country, they were not knowing. And in especially in Punjab and Bengal and Delhi also, there was a large scale violence was taking place at this time, and because of this violence, because of these riots, Mahatma Gandhi was not participating in any celebration of Independence Day. At on 15th August 1947, he was in Kolkata, and he was there to pacify the riot which was taken place between Hindus and Muslims, which killed so many people. and it was not coming to an end. So Mahatma Gandhi uh, went there, and he wanted to persuade the Hindus and Muslims to give up violence. And because of his presence, what happened that the condition of Calcutta improved very much, and the violence was stopped for some times. But that was not a permanent thing. Then again, once again, the violence erupted between Hindus and Muslim, and then Gandhiji, in order to bring peace in Kolkata, Gandhiji had to resort to a fast, because he used to resort to fast, not because he wanted to put pressure on the people कि मैं खाऊंगा नहीं तो लोगों पर pressure आएगी, but it was his nature. When things started to go out of his control, and things, very undesirable things are happening, then in that case, and these undesirable things which are happening around him, and he is not able to control that situation, then he used to be saddened by this situation, and he usually stopped eating. So that was the reason for fast. Because of sadness, he stopped eating. It was not that he wanted to put pressure on the people कि गांधी जी खा नहीं रहे हैं तो हमें लड़ना नहीं चाहिए. It's not like that. So, however, Gandhiji, when resort to fast, when he went to a fast, then again the peace came there. Then Gandhiji moved to Delhi. Delhi was also witnessing large scale violence, and Gandhi was of the opinion that the minorities uh, should be given equal rights. There should not be any kind of discrimination between Hindus and Muslims. They should be given the status of equal citizens. They must have the right to live with dignity. So it was the opinion of Gandhi, and moreover, he was also of the opinion that India should maintain a good relations with Pakistan. Hatred should not play any role in the relation between India and Pakistan. And what happened that Indian government decided not to fulfill the financial commitment to Pakistan. And because of this decision of Indian government, Mahatma Gandhi was very much unhappy, because he wanted that whatever financial commitment was there, Indian government must fulfill, must honor that commitment. But Indian government was not ready. At that time, interim government was there, because elections could not be held right now, right then. That's why what happened that an interim government was constituted with the prime ministership of Pandit Nehru, and deputy prime minister was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and he was also the home minister. So this government, which is under the leadership of Prime Minister Nehru, decided not to honor the financial commitment to Pakistan, and this decision of Indian government make Gandhi very much unhappy. And all these things were very disturbing for Gandhi, and so again he started his fast in January 1948, and that fast proved to be his last fast, because now he was approaching his assassination. And because of his fast, and because of his appeal, what happened that in Delhi also, communal tension and violence reduced to a large extent, and things were becoming normal there. Okay, and because of fast of the Gandhi, the government of India also became ready to give Pakistan its dues. Whatever financial commitment was there, the Indian government was ready to give it. Okay, so what happened that there were many extremists in both the communities, in Hindu community as well as in Muslim community. There were hardliners, there were extremists who are uh, mm, who do not want that there should be any kind of soft corner for the other communities. They are hardliners, they are extremists. They don't believe in mercy or sympathy or coexistence, adjustment. For them, these are there is no place for all these things like adjustment and coexistence and sympathy and all these things. So there was particularly Hindu extremist group were there at that time, like Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and these Hindu extremist groups were very much unhappy with Gandhi because Gandhi wanted that the Muslims should be given equal status. They should be given equal rights. There should not be any discrimination between Hindu and Muslim. Moreover, he because of his pressure, what happened that the government of India had to give Pakistan its dues, and all these acts of Gandhi, all these thoughts of Gandhi were highly disliked by the Hindu extremist group, and they these Hindu extremist group wanted that India should become a religious country. जैसे पाकिस्तान एक रिलीजियस कंट्री बन गया एंड इट वाज अ मुस्लिम कंट्री, इट इज अ मुस्लिम कंट्री, जस्ट लाइक पाकिस्तान, इंडिया को भी एक रिलीजियस कंट्री बन जाना चाहिए, एक हिंदू कंट्री बन जाना चाहिए. एंड what they thought that in the creation of a Hindu state, what was the biggest obstacle? The biggest obstacle was Gandhi, because Gandhi always act uh, in support of Muslims. He always supports Muslim. He always supports Pakistan. So a type of hatred was there in the heart of the people who belong to the extremist Hindu groups, and Gandhi was very much firm in his opinion, and nothing can distract him from his idea of equal treatment to all the communities, and equal status should be given to all the people. So he was very much a great supporter of Hindu Muslim unity. But these ideas of Gandhi were not liked by Hindu extremist group, and the disliking was the degree of disliking was so much that these Hindu extremist groups made many attempts to assassinate Gandhi, but these attempts became unsuccessful. And because of these attempts of assassination, government requested Gandhiji to accept armed protection so that he can be uh, given protection against the any effort of assassination. But Gandhi refused to accept any kind of armed protection, and he continued to meet everyone during his prayer meetings. And one such prayer meeting, he was meeting people in the evening during his evening prayer in Delhi on 30th January 19 1948. And when he was meeting people at that time, one such extremist was there, Nathuram Vinayak Godse. That Nathuram Godse, he fired three bullets at him and killing him there only, at the spot only. So in this way, Gandhi, the life of Gandhi came to an end. So the effect of as a we can say that गांधी का जो डेथ था वो भी यूजलेस नहीं रहा, उसका भी यूज हो गया। गांधी का जो असैसिनेशन हुआ, उसका जो असर हुआ, द इफेक्ट ऑफ द assassination of Gandhi was that the communal situation in the whole country became under control. Whatever violence and riots were taking place in almost all the countries, especially in Punjab, Bengal, Delhi, all these reduced to a large extent. There was peace. So we can say that this was the magical effect of Gandhi's death. And in this way, we see that slowly, normalcy started coming back to the country. And after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, the government of India cracked down on these Hindu extremist organizations, and many Hinduist extremist organizations like Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh were banned for some times, and mm, peace was prevailed. So in this way, we can see how the news of Gandhiji's assassination spread in the whole country, and this is the scene of Kolkata, where people crowded in order when they heard the news of Gandhi's assassination. Okay, now it's a story about how, on the one hand, we are seeing that people are involved in violence. The Hindus in Pakistan and the Muslims in India were becoming targets of violence. There was so much killings of people took place. Lakhs of people were killed during this process of partition. But there is an incident, and such incidents were very common in during those days. Here I am reading this excerpt. Sweta noticed that her Nana, maternal grandfather, would get very quiet whenever anyone mentioned Pakistan. One day, she decided to ask him about it. One day she decided to ask him about it, ki what is the reason why he become very quiet whenever he hears the name of a mention of Pakistan. So what is the reason behind it? Her Nana told her about how he moved from Lahore to Ludhiana during partition. The Sweta belonged to a Hindu family. Her Nana, her grandfather, was living in Lahore, and he belonged to Hindu community. Okay, and when the partition took place, he moved from Lahore to Ludhiana. Okay, Lahore is in Pakistan and Ludhiana is in India. So during this displacement, when he was moving from Lahore to Ludhiana, his both his parents were killed, and he could would also have been killed, but he was saved. Someone saved his life, and who saved his life? A neighboring Muslim family gave him shelter and kept him in hiding for several days. So uh, his parents were killed by Muslims only, and he was saved by Muslims only. तो क्या है ये? एक तरफ मुस्लिम ही मार रहा है, दूसरी तरफ मुस्लिम ही बचा रहा है। तो इसमें हम ये कहेंगे कि जो सोच थी, जो लोग थे, उनकी सोच जो थी वो पॉल्यूटेड हो चुकी थी, वो हेट्रेड से भरी हुई थी। इफ दे कुड हैव thought on the ground of humanity, then these things are totally meaningless. So when her Sweta's maternal grandfather was saved by a Muslim family, and that family gave him shelter and kept him in hiding for several days. So in this way, there are many stories like that, and these are not stories; these are real life stories. People experienced these in their real life, and this is the meaninglessness of the violence which took place, the riots which took place, how the minorities became the targets of attacks. So all these things are really meaningless, because the most important thing is humanity, and what binds us together is the thread of humanity. So now we will proceed to a new segment, that is integration of princely states. Okay. So now first of all, you must know what do you mean by princely state. Here one map is given. In this map you can see this is India. This is the whole part of India when India was not partitioned, and this is the part when India became partitioned. India became two country. So in this we can see some reasons are depicted by yellow color and some are depicted by blue color. The yellow color reasons are British India and the blue colored reasons are princely states. British India are those territories, are those provinces which were under the direct control of British Crown. These are the areas which were annexed by East India Company before 1858. ठीक है, 1857 there was Sepoy Mutiny in 1857, and after that Sepoy Mutiny many things were changed. The rule of India was shifted from the East India Company to the Crown, and it was decided that there will be no more annexation of Indian territory by the British government. Okay, so 1858 तक जो टेरिटरीज को ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने अपने में अनेक्स कर लिया था, those territories are known as British provinces. Okay, this is British India. These are British provinces or British India, both are same. And those territories which cannot be annexed till 1858, those areas remained under the rule of a prince or nawab or that Nizam, whatever, by whatever name we can say him. These regions which were not under the direct control of the British Crown, and they were ruled by the king, and these were known as princely states. But these princely states were also accepted the paramountcy of British Crown. In some internal matters, they have सेल्फ रूल, वो अपने से उसको just a moment. To some extent, they have uh, control over their internal affairs. But they have to accept the British supremacy. They were under the British crown only. So it's not that princely states were under the control of the kings of the area. No. In some matters, they have autonomy. In some matters, that was not important, but reason was completely in control of the British crown. So these princely states covered one third of the land area of the British Indian Empire. The whole empire ka जो one third part था, that was constituted by princely state. So today our discussion is over, and now we will meet tomorrow.